Oscars because that's what we do here on my channel. In addition to talking about audio description, we like to see if we can predict, if we can read the tea leaves of the Oscars. And today I'm joined by Alex Howard of the Dark Room
Uh,
podcast, like I have been. What up, Alex?
we got a great new episode up in the last few days with Reese
With
talking about live audio
with my
description.
boss. Yes, I feel like I'm
Oh, he's your boss
obligated to
too?
promote that.
Wait, you
We're
freelance with
just
DBW?
yeah, you know I work for DVW. Yeah.
I mean, I do too. I didn't know that you did also.
Yeah, I'm on the advisory board for DVW.
Oh, I'm a consultant with them.
Cool. Yeah. The things you learned in today's live
Yeah.
stream is that we're both compromised when it comes to reviewing the content. No, actually, that's uh, I've always like I found myself ever since got onboarded onto two of the companies to try. It's weird because I used to always listen to the end, but now I try not to, just so I seem more impartial. Like I'm really like exiting out, and I'm
um,
missing a lot of the narrator writing and company thing because I want like I don't like everybody's my friend now. Like I have all these narrators that are friends and writers and everything, and I want to be able to
yeah,
critique
yeah.
their stuff without being like, "All right, who did this?
No,
Who's
I
responsible?" So,
no, wait. What did I see that DBW did? I think they did The Order.
oh, did they do Jude Law's movie?
I think they did because I just saw it in theaters and I heard DBW. I was like, what?
God damn it! I've seen that movie without audio description. I should have had like access or something to the audio
Yeah,
description.
yeah.
What are my perks here? Like, what perks do I have?
It was
Anyway,
either that one or I think it was that one because I think Icon Group did Y2K. I saw both of those in the last few days, and I might be getting them mixed up.
yeah. And the order was one that I asked for audio description for, and it just wasn't provided for me. So I just went ahead and
Yeah,
reviewed it. I'm always like, yeah, I'll take the screener if you can please give me the audio description. That'd be great.
that's one that you need it for because everyone is
No.
white
Yeah,
and
that
yeah,
was tough.
yeah.
That was a
It was tough
hard
with it, Pete.
my review was like, I kind of picked up on like the basic plot, but
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell the difference between like which one was Nicholas Hoult, which one was Ty
Oh no,
Sheridan. Like,
I couldn't do it with AD. So yeah,
yeah.
until I caught on with the name about halfway through, I was like, "Oh, I want to rewatch the first half now."
So, um, but today we're tackling Best Actress, and like we have been doing, we're gonna run down the list and we're gonna build our fives. Like I have my five, Alex has his five. We haven't. I don't know what his five is. He doesn't know what mine are. So we're going down the Gold Derby rankings
Yeah,
as
we
it
can probably
stands right
stop
now.
at like 10 or 15,
Yeah,
right?
once we get down there, I'll just kind of read them quickly, and if there's anybody we want to discuss, because we
Yeah,
we we spend far too much time talking about people who shouldn't even be on the list,
yeah,
like let alone. But every once in a while, there's a 1 in 100 where I'm like, that's more than a 1 in 100 chance, I think.
yeah.
So, um, so number one on the list is Mikey Madison for
Are
Honora.
we
You
going based
have
on the Gold Derby ranking right now?
Yeah, at least based
Okay,
on when I go to actress and it shows me the massive list.
gotcha. Okay,
Uh, yeah,
yeah.
Mikey Madison is currently
So
number one.
she's on my list. I thought she's very very good, and I think she does deserve a nomination. People are saying she's gonna win. I don't. It's hard because once again, she has been in other things that I've seen, but she's never stood out in anything that I've seen. So it's kind of like this is almost like her first performance for me that I'm like, oh, that's Mikey Madison. So it's hard for me to compare to other things, which means it's hard for me to be like, oh, that was a great performance. I mean, it was, but like, I don't know that I wouldn't pick her to like win the Oscar myself, but she is on my five.
Yeah, I feel like she could go ahead and win. Um, it feels like when
For
Hillary
Nora,
Swankton
sorry,
Boys
none
Don't
of you ever
Cry.
said the movie. Mikey
What?
Madison for Nora. We never
Yeah,
said what movie it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and no, I said Honora.
Okay, you did. Okay.
Uh, yeah. I feel like it's like back with Hilary Swank for Boys Don't Cry. It's like she had been around and done some things, but nobody was really paying attention to her as an actress. Like nobody was like,
Yes,
"Oh, that girl that did the next Karate Kid, she's gonna win." But then she came in and she beat more established actresses, and I feel like that could happen here, just because I don't know that there's like a groundswell of support that even when we get down to our 5, that necessarily anybody's gonna vote for anybody else. I
that's
feel like
true. She's so young
maybe
too.
maybe if they could get Demi Moore actually in there, but I think half the battle is just getting her to a nomination because
Yeah,
she
yeah,
hasn't even been nominated, let alone won.
yeah.
So, yeah, I feel like she could actually win. So I
No,
have Mikey Madison. Yeah. So we both have Mikey Madison.
yeah.
All right. Cool. That was easy. First one. Moving down the list is Angelina Jolie for Maria. Do you have Angelina Jolie on your list? Maria.
My number 5 is questionable. I'm gonna I haven't seen this one yet. It drops on Wednesday. So I'm gonna say no. She's not on my list right now.
Okay.
She she's like my number 6.
Okay. Um, it is. It's a tough call because Pablo Larraín has managed to get both of his actresses in before with
It's true.
Natalie Portman and with Kristen Stewart. I didn't like Spencer. Actually, I hated Spencer.
I liked it,
Uh,
yeah.
I hated her choices in that movie, and she still got an Oscar nomination.
The thing is with
Here,
Kristen Stewart real quick though, she
yeah.
has mannerisms that she never gets rid of. She got rid of them in that movie. So I thought
Well,
she was great just for getting rid of her, like, Kristen Stewart-isms.
I mean, sure, but she just whispered her way through the whole movie, and like Princess Diana has the ability to phonate and can actually,
Yeah.
actually had a voice. So she was almost like she would have been made a better Marilyn Monroe or something in that, with that voice.
Yeah.
But um, yeah, it was an odd performance for me. I've seen Maria and I've seen Angelina Jolie, and it's a good performance. It's not her career achievement. It's one of those films that feels much like his previous 2 that is very centered on showcasing one actress. There's a reason why nobody's running a supporting campaign for this movie.
Mm.
So it's all based on her, and there's a little bit of that narrative of, "Ooh, we haven't nominated her since Changeling in 2008."
Yeah.
So, it's a little bit like a welcome back
Did
Angelina
her
Jolie.
did her movie she directed get nominated for Best Picture? What was it called? Start with a U? Not Unknown.
Um,
What was it called? Um,
I
it was
know
a
what you're
war
talking
movie.
about, but I don't think it was.
Okay.
Um,
I cannot remember what it's called for the life of me.
she had another one too that she directed after that,
Yeah.
but that one didn't get nominated either. She's directed a couple times. I think she has an honorary Oscar in addition to her, supporting actress
Okay.
nomination. But, I'm leaning towards the fact that they're gonna give it to her, that they're gonna see her name on the ballot, and there's enough goodwill for her, and that
Okay.
this Pablo Larraín trend of him continuing to get actresses nominated, even if the film doesn't necessarily it might get, like, a costume design nomination, but I don't really think this is gonna get a lot of traction
Yeah.
otherwise. So, I've got Angelina Jolie and you don't, so we'll
Yeah.
see how that transpires down the line. Alright,
Can I
coming up next.
predict
What?
what number 3 is?
You wanna guess?
Yeah. Is
Alright.
it Cynthia Erivo for Wicked?
No, it's still Carla.
Oh, wow, okay.
Carla Sofia Gascon for Amelia Perez. It's still
She's
number 3.
she's my number 5. Obviously, I have not seen this movie because there's no English audio description, but I I do hear she's great. Um, she's also trans in real life, so that would be a big, first for the Academy. So I do see her getting in. She's like I'm choosing her over Angelina Jolie because I think my other 4 are pretty solid, at least I'm hoping, choices for nominees.
Yeah, this is the snub I'm predicting is Carla. I actually don't have Carla, and I did sit through 2 hours of a movie in a language that I don't speak, where
I have no idea how you did
about
that.
5
That
minutes
sucks
of
for
it is in
you.
English. That 5 minutes, 2-hour movie was in English.
I I
Um,
I would have gone crazy doing that, so good for you.
so, yeah, it certainly was a test of how far along on Duolingo I've been gotten on Spanish.
Mhm.
But, no, it's not because of her performance, it's Amelia Perez has this weird sort of, like, backlash, and it, like even when it dropped on Netflix, it just kinda didn't crack the top 10. It's like it's one of these things that, like, I don't know who's trying to make this film happen other than Netflix and, like, some critics, because it's
She is
not
trans in real life,
everyone's
right?
critic fave. It's a little bit more mixed than some of the other films. Like, Anora is a film that is pretty much beloved by everybody, but Amelia Perez has some has some holes in it. And I think because of the fact that Wicked has come along and given it a really strong other musical contender, I think could knock Carla out of the race. I think
She
she's not
she is
well known enough.
she
Yeah.
is trans in real life, right?
No, yeah, she is,
Okay,
but,
okay.
our that doesn't necessarily mean that we're gonna cross that boundary this time with
No.
Carla. You
Yeah.
know, it's not like this isn't an actress that's been established and has been getting nominated, like Laverne Cox or MJ Rodriguez, um, that is up for awards consideration. This is somewhat of a newer actress on the field, um, that doesn't have quite the level of the platform. So it's almost like another Mikey Madison, like you're giving another Breakthrough Performer Award. In
Yeah.
addition to that, you're giving it to a Trans Performer Award for an international feature, for a film that doesn't have quite the same level of praise that Anora does. And for a role that is arguably a co-lead, I know they're running Zoe in supporting, but they have equal amount of screen time in the movie. So she just plays the title character. So I actually there's always gonna be, like, one big snub where everybody just goes, "Oh?" And I'm like, "Well, I feel like it's gonna be the one where because I can already see people getting angry and talking about, well, there's okay, Oscars are transphobic, blah, blah, blah." I can already see that narrative, and I just think Carla is gonna fall short.
Yeah.
And it's not because of it's not because the Oscars are transphobic, I just think her name and her profile. I know she's campaigning and Netflix is putting this film out there, but it's it was kinda like the first of Netflix's little packet of films to drop. It dropped before Piano Lesson and Maria, and,
Well, his 3 daughters dropped, like, a month before. I don't know why they did that so early because that was really good.
yeah, it's like Netflix had no faith in that movie, and it just got, uh, what that cast the Altman Award for Film Independent. So,
Yeah.
and I think Natasha Lyonne's popped up some other places, so, um, yeah, it's a shame that they didn't do more with his 3 daughters, but, it's obviously not their priority. Um, I don't I'm thinking she's gonna get snubbed, so
Do you
she's
think
my
at this point
prediction.
they're gonna prioritize Angelina Jolie over her? Because 'Cause they're both Netflix.
Um, I think it's hard not to because the campaign for Maria, uh, almost revolves around Angelina Jolie, whereas the campaign for Emilia Perez, I think Netflix thinks it can get picture, director, actress, supporting actress. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, it's a more broad campaign. They're casting a wider net, whereas with Maria, even though the screeners technically tell you you can vote this in all these categories, like, they know. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? I noticed when I got my A24 screener for for Sing Sing, technically, that has, like, a bajillion supporting actor choices. Well, they went ahead and trimmed that down, and they're saying, "For your consideration, best supporting actor, Clarence Macklin." They didn't even bother listing the other
yeah,
actors. Paul Rassi isn't even on there. And earlier, before the film opened, there was like a little bit of a debate of who would get
yeah.
the. Yeah, they're not even. They have trimmed that down. They're like it is just Clarence Macklin. So I think some people are aware of where their strength is, and I think Netflix knows that this movie doesn't Maria doesn't happen without Angelina Jolie. However, Emilio Perez can happen without Carla.
Yeah.
So it could easily still get a picture nomination, supporting actress, even a director nomination without getting Carla in there.
I wouldn't
So
say
this
either, but
film does not hinge upon her. So
yeah, no, I agree. She's my number 5 over Jolie, but it is very close.
yeah, I
And I
think
might change my tune after Wednesday after I see Maria.
well, and she's like, what is she gonna win? Like she has no awards to win this season. She's not gonna win anything. She's
Yeah,
not any of the major awards are not hers. She's not winning Screen Actors Guild. That's likely going to go to one of the American actresses, as it
yeah.
typically does. They typically don't. They didn't go for, um,
What's her
uh,
name from,
yeah, last
Anatomy?
year. Yeah, Anatomy of Fall. I can't think of her
Yeah,
name right now.
Sandra
Last
Hüller.
year, Sandra Hüller for Anatomy of Fall didn't even get nominated. So I think yeah, she has an uphill battle. She's not going to get Critics' Choice. She's not going to get SAG. She's not going to get Golden Globe musical
Yeah.
because she's going to be up against again Mikey Madison, Cynthia Erivo. You know, so uh,
Yeah.
she's just going to she's what going to power herself through just by getting nominated everywhere. I don't know. So
So
and
who's number 4 on
number four is
Cynthia?
it's Nicole Kidman.
Wow, that is shocking.
Oh,
Um,
Cynthia's five, by the way. So she's in the top five.
Nicole, do I have who were my 5?
Do Nicole Kidman for Baby Girl.
I do, yes. She's my
Um,
number.
yeah, I what do you go
I
ahead.
haven't seen this Monday.
Pitch me
They're doing,
Nicole.
what was that?
I said pitch me Nicole. You go ahead on Nicole. I spoke a lot of
Nicole,
confidence.
I hear she's great. I've not seen it. I'm hoping to see it on Monday. They do these mystery screenings at AMC where you don't know what you're gonna see, and I think it's gonna be Baby Girl because they give you the runtime and the rating. Um, so I'm going to that on Monday. Hopefully, I'll see it. I hear she's really good, and I hear that's really the only thing that this movie's gonna get, and I think the Academy loves Nicole, and I think it's gonna be weird to watch her in the AMC ad and then go straight into Baby Girl, but I do think she's gonna get in for it because the Academy loves her.
Yeah, I'm sort of interested to see how this movie lands as well. It's one of those things where it's like NBR just put it in their top 10, and most people weren't even expecting it to be a top 10 movie, but like
Yeah.
NBR put like Queer, you know what I'm saying? Like, I
I
mean,
don't
like they
know that
had
I can't take NBR seriously at all because they didn't even have Dune in their top 10.
their nomination, their stuff was so weird.
They put
It's
Gladiator over
so
Dune.
weird.
Yeah.
But
Dune is one of the best movies of the decade. I don't know how you don't have it in your top 10.
so, and I've heard that the movie's actually good. A24 just has a lot to campaign, and
Yeah.
they're always stuck with in that position where they're like, "God, we have a lot. What are we doing here?" But um,
If you look at it though, the A24 brand, so Y2K, I was not really a fan. I think it was a little too goofy than A24 typically does. And lately this year, they've been kind of branching out into more quote unquote mainstream movies. Like
yeah,
Heretic is awesome, and I love Heretic, but it's not your typical horror movie. It's more mainstream than A24 usually goes, which is fine, but I feel like people go to the A24 brand for prestige, and Y2K at least is not that. And so I think they might be tarnishing their brand name, if that makes any sense, with how they're trying to go more mainstream.
Yeah, but I still think they're making strong artistic choices, like, even these films that got picked up by A24, like Sing Sing and Queer, feel like the kind of thing that A24 would pick up, that
Yeah,
sort of have this really, like, unique vision that feel like you would want the strongest indie studio behind them, and I feel like from everything I've heard about Baby Girl, it makes sense that it's an A24 release.
yeah,
I think Y2K is just they're trying to do things because they don't wanna just constantly be drama and horror, so they're just occasionally they throw in something that aims comedy to try
yeah.
to show people that they're not like a genre. They don't wanna turn into like Shudder, because they do release a lot of horror movies, and so they could very mistakenly be confused as like a horror slash Oscar bait, and that's
Yeah.
all they do. Um, but
So you
I
do this all in your 5?
I, uh, I think she has a ton of nominations, and, um, I think I have her, like, at number 5. She's my number 5. She's just, like, barely getting in. I think on name recognition, and A24 pushing because A24 can campaign a film pretty well. I think she
Yeah,
gets the 5th spot. She's my, like, 5th place spot. So she
nice.
just narrowly gets in. um, unless their content just is so off-putting to
Yeah.
voters, but we'll see. So, anyway, next is Cynthia Erivo. Now we can talk about Cynthia Erivo.
She is my number 2. I think I was telling someone last night, like, the only way I see her missing is that people went into Wicked expecting she was gonna be good. People did not go into Wicked expecting Ariana Grande to be good. So I feel like Ariana Grande is the thing people are talking about because our expectations were lower. But
Mhm.
Cynthia Erivo, I mean, she's unreal. Like, I cried at the end of Wicked because of her singing. Like, she is amazing in that movie. So I mean, I want her to get into this really bad, and Wicked's in my top 10 of the year for sure.
I think if she is able to beat Mikey Madison at the Golden Globes, I'd be willing to maybe swap her in, but I don't have her right
For a
now.
nomination or for the favorite to win?
If she can win Golden Globe musical or comedy against Mikey Madison, if that shows because that's sort of a nice that's a pretty solid precursor, even though they don't have overlapping voters, because
Yeah,
you're pulling half the nominees out. You're taking the drama people out, and so what
yeah,
you're really doing is you're putting head to head the three potentially strong contenders with uh, Mikey, uh, um, Carla, and Cynthia, and throwing them together and saying, "Pick
I
one."
think Demi's gonna get a Golden Globe for comedy too. I don't know that that's gonna be a drama, I think it's a comedy. I don't know.
Uh, yeah, to me, it's so Substance is being compared as campaigned as a comedy. That'd be amazing if she won too in comedy. So I think
Yeah,
that's an interesting category to look at. I think Cynthia, if she wins there, considering she's not necessarily the favorite to win, um, could put her more in the race. She has an awful publicist. Like,
if
like
she does, she
the
I agree.
The every time see, this is why I don't think Cynthia's gonna win is because every time you hear a Cynthia Erivo story or an interview, it's never anything good. Cynthia Erivo never said anything positive. It's
Yeah,
always she always gets herself in a trap where she has to say something that trends in a negative direction. And I I think at the end of the day, and I've listened to, especially if you hear Black film critics I definitely listened to a Black film critic talk about and explain his, distaste for Cynthia Erivo, um, and, after her, calling, Black African Americans animals, um, uh,
I didn't hear
that,
about that.
um Yeah, it was back when she was campaigning for Harriet, and,
Oh, okay.
it was, like, briefly like, it was in a Wicked review, but he was giving a little bit of color context as to why, he was not a Cynthia Erivo fan going into, like, watching Wicked. He was like, "I mean, like, she was fine, but, I have no love for this woman," type of thing. And, like, I wonder how many other people think that and know that, and I wonder how much voting support she has, you know? I didn't see what the African
Really
American
good
Film
going
Critics
to the movies.
Society voted for, but, it's if they went with somebody else, that, wouldn't
Yeah,
surprise me. So, she can be polarizing, and she doesn't have a publicist that's telling her no. So, I think in a very tight actress year, I think she may end up costing herself the nomination because she
yeah.
can't just get in there and just be positive. She can't just say things. She doesn't know how to brush off a question. When she's asked about, like, what do you think about people singing in the theaters? She has to have some sort of she has to be able to make for some reason, she feels like she has to make a statement, instead of just being like, "Oh my god, I think it's great that I'm in this amazing movie," that people they're just such big fans that they just feel like that they have to come and share in the experience or something. I don't know, like, I feel like I could have given, like, an easy bullshit response, to that question instead of, like, chastising, being like, "Well, you've come to the theaters. This is not how you behave."
Yeah.
It's like,
But I mean, based on the performance alone, though, if they're looking at that and Wicked is such wide appeal, like, people will hate on it, and then they'll see it, and they'll be like, I'm wrong. It's really good." So, I
uh
just if you've seen the movie, I don't see a way that you don't vote her in for Best
I
Actress.
think I mean, she's an incredible singer. I
Yeah,
think at the
yeah.
end of the day, it comes down to publicists. And
Yeah,
part of the reason I think, I think because of the musicals, I think people may be picking Cynthia or Carla, and there may be enough votes being split that neither of them, you know what I'm saying? Like, they may not want
yeah.
to vote for 2 musical actresses this year. So,
Who's
I decided to leave both of them out for right now.
It's crazy.
So,
Usually, we look at Best Actress in a drama for, like, who's gonna win the Oscar, but, like, this year it's comedy for Golden Globes. Who do you think is gonna win drama, though? Nicole Kidman?
um, I think drama could be really interesting because there are some people who are bubbling under. I think they're probably most likely gonna go with Angelina Jolie just because of, like, that old school, like, star power
Yeah.
thing of putting somebody up there, uh, on the thing, and her
She
film's a little bit more
notoriously got
accessible.
nominated for a Golden Globe for The Tourist, so
Yeah, so, but I wouldn't be surprised if they just swung for the fences and went with, like, Fernando Torres for I'm Still Here, or
yeah.
Marianne Jean-Baptiste for Hard Truths.
Yeah.
So, those would be really interesting choices for Best Actress in Drama. For a category that feels a little bit more wide open, doesn't really have a clear
Yeah.
front runner. So, alright, moving on.
For number 6?
Is number 6 is Marianne Jean-Baptiste for Hard Truths. She has moved up in the ranks. Look at her. Do you have Marianne Jean-Baptiste for
I
Hard
do not.
Truths?
I have not seen this movie. I don't think it comes out even in the theater until January 10th, so I'm not gonna see it pretty much until then, and then after that, it'll go on Apple TV. Have you seen it?
I have seen Hard Truths without audio description, but I've seen it, and it's very dialogue heavy, and her
Okay.
performance is really easy to appreciate either way because her performance is completely driven by the dialogue Mike Leigh has given her. She plays a very sort of unlikable person, and it kind of matters whether or not people are gonna, like, embrace that part of her. The big concern, and it's the same seriously, Bleecker Street really needs to reconsider life because if they watch every single YouTuber, we're all saying the same thing. The only reason people are not including Marianne Jean-Baptiste, it has everything to do with the fact that Bleecker Street has has been completely unproven in their ability to run an Oscar campaign.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've gotten the screener for it, but I don't know, and that's a good sign. If it doesn't come out till January, they're trying to build, and she did just win, like, New York Film Critics. So, I mean, she doesn't have the worst profile. I've seen the performance. I think it's my favorite performance of the year. I loved her in this. I thought she was incredible. I thought the way that she
Would you
just
compare the movie to 1001 or no?
no, because 1001, the dialogue doesn't crackle. This is like if Aaron Sorkin wrote 1001.
Okay.
She's got dialogue that just pops. She says some of the nastiest things. She's like it's like watching somebody, like a really good, insult comic, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, she just the things that she says to people, you're like, "Damn, I'm glad she's not saying that to me," but oh my
Kinda
god,
like
that
Karen
is so
Culkin.
yeah, and she's so good with the situation and the way that she navigates the dialogue, it just feels like she's just ripping into people. She's
Yeah.
like a horrible person to sit there and spend 2 hours with, but still somehow endlessly entertaining. Um, and,
So where is she for you?
I actually do have Marianne Jean-Baptiste. I'm gonna take the risk and say at some point Bleecker Street is gonna get a nomination, and I think, Hard Truths is gonna get, Actress in Screenplay this year. So, I
Yes.
think it's gonna get a 2 nomination. So, Marianne Jean-Baptiste fills out my 4th spot because I have Mikey, Angelina, Nicole, and Marianne. So, that's 4
Okay.
for me. How many do you have? Did we do
You don't
5
have
for you?
Cynthia?
No, I don't have Cynthia, no. I
Yeah,
don't have
I have
Cynthia or
Cynthia,
Carla.
Mikey, Carla, and Nicole.
So you still have 1
Yeah.
more spot left.
Yeah, so what's
I
7?
I'm hoping our last spot is the same person.
The last one is the whole reason why I wanted to do this category today, so
Alright. And right after Marianne Jean-Baptiste is Demi Moore for The Substance.
there we go, that's what I wanted to hear. Okay. So, yeah, this is definitely my top 3 of the year. I'm still trying to decide where it's gonna go because my top 3 are really close, The Substance, but, I am fighting tooth and nail for Demi Moore to get nominated, and I've seen a bunch of critics who are also putting her in their top 5. It would be freaking amazing if she got in for this, like, I hope it gets in for more than just this, but just getting her in would be a total win. This is not the kind of movie Academy members usually go for, but I freaking love it, and I really hope this getting a nomination kinda starts a trend of these kinds of movies getting nominated more, and Demi Moore gives such a good performance. She says so little through the whole movie, and she just
Oh, yeah, it's
expresses so
actual
much with her
acting. Yeah,
dialogue. Yeah,
yeah,
it's unbelievable what she does in this movie.
yeah, I finally saw it, and it's not my thing, on any level. It's too much. Like, if I still had my vision, I would've walked away. I would've turned I so that's my only hesitancy is I wonder how many people but God, her performance is just if you can get past it, if for people who can get past the
No spoilers, leave it
relentless relentless gore in some places, it's, like, relentless. If you can get past that, it's it's an amazing performance. Like, she has some scenes in there that are not gory at all. Like, the scene
even the first half, yeah,
well, my favorite scene of hers is the one where she keeps trying to leave, and she keeps, like, going back and touching up her makeup, and then she just
yeah,
kinda says, "Fuck it." Like, I
yeah,
love that scene is her Oscar moment. Like, if we could just get people to watch that scene, I feel
yeah.
like she would get nominated. You don't even need to know the context of the rest of the movie. I feel like so many women could probably relate to that moment.
Oh,
Um,
100%, yeah.
and there's no gore in that. That's just her.
Yeah.
I mean,
Even the
some of
first
it's
20
fucked up,
minutes when
but
she's upset that it's her birthday and all of that,
yeah.
and her getting older, it's just, like, 0 dialogue. It's just all acting. It's awesome.
But I think Demi Moore has to be everywhere, and she has not been everywhere. Like, some of the awards have picked other people. She's missed out on nominations. Substance has not been in every top 10. I need it to be ubiquitous because it needs to feel like the kind of film that Oscar voters, even though they don't wanna see it, they feel like they have to, you know? um, because no Oscar voter cannot see this in order for her to get nominated, because the strength of the Substances campaign is based up around getting people
Mm.
to take that leap, to take the jump, and to watch it.
Yeah.
I'm taking
Was
the
it
leap, and
in one of
I'm
your
put
top
I
10? I
have her
think
in
it
my
was.
I have her in my 5. So, that rounds out my 5 and rounds out your 5, because I think The Substance has a package. After watching it, I really think that The Substance, if critics can relentlessly, I made a joke in my review, I was like, I feel like it's getting to the point where if like Oscar voters are going to find when they go to vote that there's going to be somebody from like some film Twitter person standing behind them that with like a weapon, being like, "You will vote for Demi Moore. We're tired of horror
Yeah.
movies not being
I
nominated."
will be that person. I will stand behind them and tell them, like
Just
like,
find an
I'm such
Oscar
a big
voter and
genre
like,
fan.
be like, "You're going to vote for The Substance."
I'm such a big genre fan, and this is like I love this movie, but, like, this genre deserves some recognition finally at the Oscars. Like, they snubbed Toni Collette, they're gonna snub, what's his name, Hugh Grant. Like, they this genre deserves, and this, like, weird ass body horror too, like, needs some Oscar love.
Yeah, and this feels like the kind of campaign that is really being pushed, and they're really, it's like they're aware of how far behind they are. They're aware that they have to do the work, and they're really trying to make it happen. They're trying to get Demi everywhere. I love the fact that Independent Spirit gave it one of the 5 spots for Best
Yeah.
Picture. I think that's great, because
Oh,
that's
yeah.
of 5. Like, they gave The Substance over The Brutalist.
Yeah.
Now, I know that has a lot to do with, like we talked about right before we got on this, that The Brutalist hasn't been screening well. What I mean by that is A24 has not been making sure that screeners get into everybody's hands. It didn't screen for CCA, and so it's basically just riding off of who's seen it at festivals. So the fact that it
Yeah.
got any nominations, because a lot of people were like, Adrian Brody didn't get nominated. It's like, yeah, but when you think about it, it's like, how many people went to the festivals? And, like, that's it. Like, those are the people who voted. So the fact that
Yeah.
Brady Corbett got a directing nomination based off of festival love is amazing. But yeah, it also the fact that Substance got nominated over it, I think
It's
says a
also a
lot
very,
about
like,
its profile.
feminist movie overall. Like, it has a lot to say in terms of feminism, the beauty industry, and
Oh, yeah, no, I
Hollywood,
think
and
it's,
all of it.
yeah, and I actually really loved, Dennis Quaid. If I could pick a supporting nomination that could surprise, I would mu I know, like, I'm bucking the trend here because everybody wants Margaret Qualley, but Dennis Quaid did more for me in what was clearly a very targeted role, like,
Well, you
that
know that that
that
role you know
Harvey.
it's supposed to be you know it's supposed to be Ray Liotta.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
Yeah.
Ray would have done great with that, but Dennis really
Yeah.
came in and seemed to understand what that role needed perfectly,
I
and
saw an interview with them, they were saying that they shot some with Ray, and then he died, and then they had to reshoot with Dennis, and it's such a, hard movie, like, mood-wise, just it's not very happy, and when Dennis came in, they said he brought kind of the re-energy that they needed on set, like, he brought because his character is very over the top,
yeah.
so he almost made it kind of fun, and he brought the energy that they needed.
Yeah, no, he brings that kind of that kind of, like, cocky male chauvinism into the film, exactly the kind of level that it needs to be. I think he's very underrated
Yeah.
in that role this year. Margaret Qualley for me was just like, I felt like the whole thing was
Mhm.
about Demi Moore in that role, since they kinda play the same person. I just felt like
Mhm.
Demi's character had all of the narrative, and then, like, what do you feel for Margaret's character? Not
Mhm.
much. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have, I don't think
Yeah.
you're not really rooting for her because you feel so bad for Demi every time you see her on screen. You're like, "Well, shit."
Mhm.
So, yeah, it's conflicting. Yeah, and, she's young, and I also think my hot take was, I think it would've been cool if they'd actually gone with, Rumor for the part. She wouldn't have gotten awards
Mhm.
buzz, but for Rumor, for
Who?
Demi's actual daughter who acts Rumor Willis,
Oh,
the actual actress.
oh, that would have been
Um,
fun.
yeah, she actually has a daughter, and so they would have looked more alike instead of picking Andie MacDowell's daughter. Although that it was fun when they were in Maid, together. The Netflix limited series, Margaret Qualley and Andie MacDowell played mother and daughter in that, but, um, Demi does actually have a daughter, which would have made them look a little bit closer. Anyway, we've talked a lot about Demi. We both have her. We both
Yes.
actually have our 5. So let's talk
This is
about
my one that I will go crazy for at the Oscars if this happens.
Demi Moore made me take out the one that I said I wasn't gonna take out because I was willing to die on a hill for someone else that I'm hoping is still on this list, but we'll get to in a second.
Okay.
But who fell out of my top 5. I hate to do it because I feel bad for her. But anyway, who's at number 8? We'll see. 8 is Saoirse Ronan for The Outrun. Yeah, some people are talking about this. I've seen this. It's very quiet. I didn't it didn't have audio description, but also this is one of those films where even if Sony Pictures gave it to me again, it wouldn't even be a priority for me. I was just like, it's an addiction drama is what it
Yeah.
is, and, at both times I saw Saoirse this year in her films, it made me wanna watch other films she had done where she was better in them, and I liked them
Yeah.
more. Like, I felt that way about The Outrun and Blitz. I was just like, "She's fine, but she's already got, like, 5 Oscar nominations, and she's, like, I don't even
Yeah.
know if she's 30 yet." So, we can
I don't
calm
see her doing.
down. We don't need to just nominate her for everything. There are other people who've never been nominated before.
Yeah.
I loved her in Brooklyn, I loved her in other things. The Outrun, I just
I never saw it because I heard mixed things and I had other
it was at
priorities.
Sundance, so you didn't take the opportunity. It was at Sundance to
No, they didn't have AD. I only watch movies with AD at Sundance. It
okay.
didn't. I don't remember having AD there.
Alright, next up is Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here. I think she could surprise just because the way international films sometimes surprise, and she's also being campaigned by Sony Pictures Classics, which usually runs pretty solid Oscar campaigns. I would
Oh,
say if she's in, Marianne is out. I think she would take Marianne's spot, as being sort of like the surprise little smaller film
do
that
you know if this
could.
has description anywhere? I doubt it.
Uh, well, I doubt it too. But just the way, just because I know the SBC portal, yeah, I've seen a couple things on there and they haven't had, so I'm
Oh,
sure
I
I'm not
mean,
going to be able to watch it. I
like
don't think
in
it has
general,
audio
like, was
description.
there a track made for this movie in English?
I doubt it.
Okay,
So
yeah. So,
yeah, we live in this is the world of blind film critics. We you know can't really comment on international as much as we'd like to. Uh, so I think she could. I've heard she's good, and I know her story. She's the daughter of um, Montenegro, who was nominated for Central Station. So anyway, June Squibb for Thelma. Oh, now she's got 101
this
odds.
is when I saw
This
Sundance.
is this is the one that I had in 5 the last time we kind of were talking about things, is I was leaving June Squibb
Yeah.
as my like, I wanted to just leave her there and just
You and Lee both love this
I
movie.
was gonna have her be like Glenn Howerton for the year and be like,
Yeah.
has to happen. We have to." But I've seen so many performances this year, and I just don't think the Oscars are gonna go for a comedy. But I would be delighted to see June Squibb get nominated. Like, if you're not gonna nominate Demi, can we nominate June? Like,
Y
like 95, can we get her on stage for this, like, for, like, her last that's the only thing that might make the Demi snub okay for me, would be if
yeah.
June Squibb, at her age, got a Best Actress nomination.
Yeah.
Um, but, yeah, I just don't think it's happening. Magnolia's
No, I don't.
campaigning it, though.
It'd be
I
great
did
if
get
she
it.
got a Golden Globe at least nomination.
I got a separate screener for Thelma, like, on its own, and then I got Magnolia's whole slate, so they're pushing it, individually. Um, next is Amy Adams for Night Bitch, who just got a Independent Spirit nomination.
I've not seen this one yet. I hear she's really good in it. This is such a crowded category this year. I don't see her getting into this.
This was a
I don't
tough
think the
film.
movie
Yeah,
yeah.
this was a tough watch without audio description because the whole transformation stuff doesn't work without audio description, obviously. But I was able to get a lot of her performance because she has monologues. Like she does a lot of her stuff is through an internal monologue that she's speaking to the audience. So it's I think I've heard it and I get it and I get why people were saying it. It's like I think mothers will get this performance, and they could vote for it. So it's possible, but most people seem to not really like the movie that much. So
Yeah, I'm waiting to see it. My friend who's watching, she's a mom, and so I wanna watch this with her because I feel like watching it with her will give me a different perspective on the movie, maybe make me appreciate it more.
yeah, definitely, check out the mom perspective because I think that's what it resonates. I mean, basically, the whole film is Amy Adams. Scoot McNairy's in it a little bit as the dad, and then it's like the little kids are so small that you don't even talk about their names as child actors. They're like
Yeah.
toddlers, where they usually swap out the two kids, usually twins. So, all right, next is Tilda Swinton for The Room Next Door. I've seen this without audio description. She was fine, but she's been better. I actually liked her
How's the
better in
movie?
Problemista this year, to be honest.
Oh, see,
So,
I hated her in Problemista. I will fight you on that one.
well,
I
that's
thought she
that's
was
one
so
of the
annoying in
reasons.
that movie.
But that's one of the reasons why I loved her. I loved her because I thought she was playing such a
That's
bitch,
true.
such a bitchy person. I thought she did such a good
Oh,
job of it.
it's so annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what
Well,
I loved about the performance is I was like, "Damn, this person is terrible." It reminded me a lot of, Meryl Streep in Devil Wears Prada, like a version of that almost.
yeah.
So yeah, I dug her performance in this. In Room
How is
Next
how is
Door,
the movie though? Is it good? Would you recommend it?
what?
The Room Next Door.
If it picks up audio description, sure. It's a
Who's the
lot of
distributor?
just kind of talking and sitting, and it's a quiet movie. Um, it's it's very much an acting piece. It's
Okay.
a very small cast. It's basically just Tilda and Julianne, although John Turturro does have some stuff to do, but nothing that would get him into an awards race. And Alessandro Nivola is in it too, but again, nothing that would get him.
Give me like
Um,
what's the plot? Give me like a sentence like
oh, two
of it.
friends reunite after a long period of time, but one of them is battling cancer, doesn't look good, and they she rents a house for and asks the other friend, Julianne Moore, Tilda's the one that's dying, to go spend this time with her, um,
Oof. Sounds like a
out at this house. The whole thing is that she's estranged from her daughter, and she doesn't really have anybody, and she
yeah.
wants to, in the least spoilery way that I can say, she doesn't want to die alone. So she wants, somebody to be able to be there to find her or whatever. She finds it more comforting if there's somebody else. So she pays to have this, little vacation home rental thing or whatever for the
Okay.
two of them. So Julianne Moore can stay there, presuming that one day she'll wake up and Tilda won't be alive anymore. But it's a little bit
Oh,
more complex than that, but it gets a little bit more into spoiler territory.
okay.
So that's the easiest way that I can describe it.
Who's the distributor?
That is Sony Pictures
Is it a
Classics.
streamer?
Yeah, I've seen the screener for that, yeah.
No,
It's
is it a streamer or is it a studio?
no, it's SPC, Sony Pictures Classics.
Okay.
So it'll be a theatrical release.
Okay.
So the question, I just hasn't. I don't think it's been released yet. So
I don't think so.
we'll just see what happens when it releases if it has audio description.
It
All
will.
right.
Oh,
Next up, Zendaya for Challengers. I never really thought this was going to happen. I kind of always thought Challengers was going to be this year's Air. I love that people are still trying to make it happen, though. I,
people love the movie.
I I know people love Challengers. I think Challengers going to get snubbed. I think it's going to get nothing.
No, I don't think it's
So
I wasn't I didn't like Lee loved it. I didn't love it as much as Lee did, but like it's good. It's not great.
yeah, I liked it, but I mean, again, I think Challengers needed to open during award season, not
Yeah. Not
March or
in April.
April or wherever the hell it opened. Yeah, it's having a really hard time clinging on, and now that Amazon is finally getting Nickel Boys to take off, then
Yeah. So who's the next one after Zendaya? I think we're moving into the stuff that's not gonna happen.
uh, actually, no, we're not. Kate Winslet for Lee. We do have to talk about this because this. Have you heard what's happening with this and why this
Well, I
is?
know Lee saw it. He said she was really good in it. I've heard good things about her performance. I haven't seen it yet.
So what's happening with this is since it's got a garbage distributor behind it, is that it has caught the attention of Frances Fisher, who is famous for having gotten Andrea Riseborough the surprise nomination for To Leslie. So Frances Fisher is campaigning Kate Winslet. So
Okay.
this could end up being a huge spoiler if Frances Fisher ends up being the most amazing Oscar campaigning person in the history of. She
Yeah.
already got Dwayne Johnson to
Hello? Okay.
sorry, it was just somebody. I noticed that somebody said something about have we seen the Russian movie? I can't. We have chat options on it too.
Someone talking about
Um,
live chat?
somebody's talking in live chat, yeah, and I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, I'm blind. We need this is where we need excited people to tell us things. Um, but
The Russian movie. What Russian movie?
yeah, I don't know. I think they're talking about Honora, which we already
Oh,
talked about at the top. But yes, we both think Mikey Madison is going to get nominated. Whoever asked that question. Um, but yeah, I think Kate Winslet with Lee. If Frances Fisher is able to get her the nomination, that could be an out of the box thing. So no, I'm glad we talked about Kate Winslet because there is that random thing that's happening, and
yeah.
Dwayne Johnson is telling people to watch Lee. It's like really. Anyway, so okay, let's see who else is worth talking about. Oh, Pamela Anderson from Last Showgirl. I did see this, and she
Who?
is really
What?
good in it. She's not going to get an Oscar
Oh,
nomination,
yeah, no. No, no,
but
no. She's
I was really pleased with the fact that Gotham's. I thought she'd get a Spirit nomination, and I thought it was going to kind of stop there. I suppose maybe Golden Globe drama, just because of the way that they have essentially 12 nominations. So,
Did she
um,
get a Spirit Award nomination?
no, she didn't get a Spirit Award. No, she only got Gotham. So, uh, did we see the Russian movies Night Watch like 20 years ago? What a weird movie to bring up now. No, I don't remember Night Watch. I mean, I kind of, I mean, I didn't see it. So, that's in the chat. Weird. We're talking about Oscars. Anyway, uh, I love you, but come back later. Whoever wants to know about Night Watch. Um, all right. So, uh, yeah, Pamela Anderson, she's good in Last Showgirl. I wish more people would. I actually really like Jamie Lee Curtis in it too. But anyway, that's enough about Pamela Anderson. It is perfectly cast, is what it is, and she has come a long way. And I think a lot of people will appreciate her for that.
That's
But I
awesome.
just don't think anybody's taking Pamela Anderson seriously for an Oscar nomination. But the fact that she's
Yeah,
getting any awards buzz at all is amazing because it's who would have thought, you know?
yeah.
Um, Kirsten Dunst for Civil War. No,
Love
right?
that movie. I don't think that's gonna happen though. Also, is it Spaney? Kaylee? I would say Kaylee Spaney is the lead. No?
Yeah, but Kirsten Dunst is the bigger name, so probably that's why it's easier to campaign
Oh,
her. Sometimes it's about names and putting people in certain categories. So,
yeah, no, I don't think she's good.
um, Florence Pugh for We Live in Time. We can pass. I think we can skip
It's
that.
great enough, but no.
Emma Stone for Kinds of Kindness.
That'd be great, but no.
Linda Rose Depp for Nosferatu.
I watched the
Julia.
original Nosferatu last night with AD on YouTube. Have you seen it?
I should watch that before I watch Nosferatu,
Yeah.
but I don't have a Nosferatu screener right now, so I'm not pressed
Yeah, Joel Snyder
when
did
that
the
happens.
AD.
Okay,
Yeah,
go for it.
it's a silent movie, so obviously it needs audio description. But yeah, it's really good.
Look for it for context, right around the time uh, if I ever get Nosferatu as a screener. If it has audio description, I can't imagine watching that movie without audio description. God,
Uh,
the stuff I do just to try to prove to people that we need audio description. It's like, yes,
I don't know why
I'll
you
watch the way that you present this shit to me, and then we'll talk about why it's unpresentable. Like,
Yeah,
Um, all right, so Anya Taylor-Joy for Furiosa. Why is she that high? That's bullshit. Hunter Schafer for Cuckoo, who did just get a Independent Spirit nomination, which probably bumped her up the list. People were like, "Oh
wow,
my god, is it happening?" It's not happening. Um,
it's a great movie though.
I did love Cuckoo, yeah, actually. Anna Kendrick for Woman of the Hour. No. I mean, I it's not gonna happen, and what I'd love for Anna Kendrick to get would be, like, a first-time feature director
Yeah,
nomination,
would agree.
because her work on directing that film was good. It's not good enough for her to be considered actual director of the year, but when you take I hate to say that, but when you look at just first time feature, yeah, she deserves to be recognized in, like, a first
Yeah,
time feature group of nominees. Daisy Ridley for Young Room. God, I fell asleep in that movie. That movie's so
yeah.
boring.
I see. Now we're down to stuff where it's like, no way.
The lead from All We Imagine Is Light, which I have a screener for, and I haven't seen it because it's international.
Never even heard of that.
Really cute for Sasquatch Sunset.
Nice.
Julian Nicholson for
Are you serious? It said Riley Keough.
yeah, Riley Keough's on here for Sasquatch Sunset. Yes,
That's amazing.
and Julian Nicholson's here for Janet Planet, although that really is a supporting performance. Technically, that the child is the lead. Um, Vicky Krieps for The Dead Don't Hurt. That's not going to happen. Tilda Swinton for what? The End. Oh, I guess that makes sense, but
I've
she's
heard.
not gonna get. I have a screener for this. It's in my Neon box. I haven't seen it yet, but it's
I
not
think that
getting
came
any
from
buzz. What?
Lee and I have been talking about wanting to see it, but
Yeah, the
it comes
Apocalypse
in the next
musical.
week.
Yeah, I have a screener for it. I'll watch it at some point soon. But Winona Ryder for Beetlejuice. Oh God, no.
Nope.
Mila Kunis for Goodrich. What the fuck is that? And no, Mila Kunis
I
is not
don't
getting
even
an
know
Oscar
her.
nomination. Kristen Stewart for Love Lies Bleeding should definitely be higher on this list, considering all the names I've read off before.
Yeah,
Um, Marissa Bella at Back to Black should have been deleted already. Jodie Comer for The Bike Riders. Is that lead? I guess it's lead. Margaret Qualley for Driving Dolls. Lily
I
Glasgow
hated
for
it.
Fancy Dance is so low. She's one of my favorite performances of the year. Like, I fully intend on voting for her. Like, she is in my top 5, of,
I
like,
hated that movie
performances
though.
I've seen. I loved her in Fancy Dance. I loved her more in Fancy Dance than I did in Killers of the Flower Moon, and no one's talking about this movie. It has
Wait, which movie?
Fancy Dance. It's Apple, and honestly, Apple should stop doing whatever they're doing with Blitz and just try to make sure everybody see Fancy Dance, and see if they can get
Which
Lily Gladstone nomination.
oh, Lily Gladstone. Okay,
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Driveway Doll still. Okay.
No, Lily Gladstone for Fancy Dance is I loved her. I thought she was great. Um, and it's really a showcase for her more so in a way than Killers of the Flower Moon was. Like she is
Wow.
the movie, and she's fantastic in it, and I love her in that. So I wish she would get some traction, but sadly,
Yeah.
Apple is still trying to make Blitz happen. So
What are we at in the odds right now?
these are all 100 to 1. I'm just trying to
Oh,
go
yeah.
through them really quickly. I just stopped at her because I really loved her performance. Alicia Vikander for Firebrand was good, but not
Yeah.
going to happen. Ryan Destiny for The Fire Inside, she did just also get a Spirit Award nomination. I'm surprised she's not higher on the list. I've seen this. Amazon is campaigning it. They're doing a pretty big campaign for it. This she could go up if she gets in other places. This is somebody that I would say her odds could change. She's really low for some reason. But depending on how Amazon's campaign works, if she snuck in somewhere that mattered into Golden Globe or Critics' Choice or something like that, like if she was the surprise sixth nominee for Best Actress in a Drama at the Globes, that could change her profile. She won't get into the Oscars, though. I just think it's too tough of a race for her.
I'm excited to see it. It comes out on Christmas.
Yeah, it's a pretty solid movie, and she does a good job in it. It's not in my top 10 or anything like that, but it was solid. So Robin Wright for Here, that movie's dead.
Never.
Audra Arjona for Hitman, and no. Although a lot of people think Glenn Powell's going to get nominated, I see him floating into a lot of top fives.
Mhm.
Maya Hawke for Wildcat, no.
That was a
Natalie
fitting good
Emmanuel from Megalopolis. Can we just delete Megalopolis? Like, can Gold Derby just go through and remove some of these things that, like, I feel like it's just these are taking up space. Mother's Instinct, Jessica Chastain, which means I think Anne Hathaway is also on here. Yeah, that film is okay, but it's neither one of their best performances. Like, I liked the movie enough, but
Where is
nobody's
that
going to
from a
say that
streamer?
that is a Neon release that was from back over the
Oh, it's
summer.
probably
It has audio description, if you it's not like a VOD of it, so, got it on VOD, but yeah,
where?
and now I have a screener. What?
Oh, okay.
Like, just video on demand, like, if you
Yeah,
go
yeah.
to I don't know that it is anywhere. Neon
They
I believe
usually
it's
do.
Neon. Neon sends their stuff to Hulu, so I don't know if it'll have it should be getting on Hulu, it should already be on Hulu or something right now anyway, based on when it was released, so Celeste, something from Parthenon. Parthenon, I heard a lot about when people were like when everything was sight unseen. I heard more people talking about Parthenon.
I've
Uh,
never even
it like for those like when people do those really early Oscar predictions, like starting in like March and April, people were talking about Parthenon, and like just died. Just nobody's talking about Parthenon anymore. Regina King for Shirley.
never heard of that.
Kerry Washington for the 688, which is getting decent reviews now, but that'd be funny if Netflix suddenly started to launch a campaign for it.
Is that out already or no?
No, it's Netflix's like final. It's like their Christmas Day
Oh, okay.
uh, release. Uh, yeah, so Julia Louis-Dreyfus for Tuesday really should be supporting,
I've been waiting to see
and I
Tuesday.
was.
I can't figure out where to watch it.
It's on Max right now. You have Max?
It's on Max? Okay.
Yeah, it's on Max. It's been on Max for a couple weeks.
Okay.
So
Check that out.
that's it. So yeah, we reached the end of the list. Actually, that wasn't that hard. That wasn't that long of a list.
Sweet.
So recapping, my top five were Mikey Madison, Angelina Jolie, Nicole Kidman, Marianne Jean Baptiste, and Demi Moore. And your five are
Mikey Madison, Demi Moore, Nicole Kidman, Cynthia Erivo, and please help me out with the name from Maria. Not
Carla
Maria.
Sofia Gascon.
Thank you. Yeah.
You had Carla Sofia Gascon, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what we think. The current state of the Oscar race is. We're both leaning in on Demi Moore for The Substance. I think once you've seen The Substance, you just tend to predict it because you can't not. Like it's
Hmm.
really weird. Um, I'm forever jaded now that I've seen it. Before it was easier to be like, it's a horror movie. It's never going to get nominated. Then you're just like, it has to get nominated. We just have to make
Yeah.
this happen.
Pretty much.
Like I wouldn't be bothered at all if it got like picture, director, actress, supporting actress, screenplay. You know,
Screenplay,
if it
yeah.
got like if Substance like woke up, I think people would lose their minds. If
I
like
don't see it
Substance got like
getting
10 Oscar
director.
nominations, people would lose
I
their
could see
minds.
it. I could see it getting picture. I could see it getting screenplay. I don't see it getting director, but I mean, it'd be great. But there's only 5 slots. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, but we have been getting female directors in, and who's the other female director?
It's true. Very
So
true. Yeah.
and she's international, by the way, as a
Yeah.
reminder. So, did you see the Oscar expert? Their reaction to what was it? Oh God, it was AFI to the AFI top 10, and the
No.
Substance didn't get in. He calls the AFI like
Wow.
on speakerphone to try to find out if the Substance was eligible because they only honor American films, but like they nominated Amelia Perez.
Uh-huh.
So he was trying to figure out whether or not The Substance, because it being from a French, like you would think that they're in the same boat because Amelia Perez is a French director. It's being submitted international from France. So if Amelia is allowed to be an American film, then why wouldn't The Substance be?
But then
So
Is Amelia going for international feature or no?
it is, yeah. It's France's entry
But The
this year
Substance is
for
not. The Substance is, you know why? Because Amelia is not in the English language, and The Substance is in the English language.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like the AFI nominated Amelia Perez, which they don't normally nominate international titles. So that's
Yeah,
why it
that's
blew their mind because they were like, "Whoa, wait a minute. Does that mean The Substance was eligible and just not nominated, or like
I need to look at the AFI
because
top 10.
Amelia Perez should have been uh, ineligible?" It's
Yeah.
it's not that crazy. Like it's a pretty obvious top 10. Like it's not a
Sometimes they'll throw
uh,
in stuff that I agree
NBR
with that
was weird.
I feel.
But NBR was weird, but AFI was pretty predictable. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, it was good having you. We talked about
Thanks.
Best Actress, and we've already done supporting categories, so that leaves Best Actor the next time we talk.
Yeah.
And trying to figure out which actor is going to get that fifth place spot, like the rest of the internet is trying to do right now.
Yeah. Go check
Um,
out the Dark Room podcast,
check out,
and
yep, and you gotta. We've got a Alex and Lee and I are all doing a community call next week on the 16th. I
on
want to say
Tuesday.
it's the 6th. Yeah, it's Tuesday. It's going to be in the evening, and it's through American Council of the Blind on their channel. I don't know that we have a time yet. It's usually in
Oh,
the
that
evening.
I see what you're saying. Oh, yeah, that's different than what I was thinking. Yes. I
Oh,
think
yeah,
that's
yeah.
Monday.
Yeah, our thing is next week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where we talk about our favorite holiday films that have audio description. So,
Yep. So
Cool.
stay tuned for
All right, so that's a wrap for today. Uh, and thanks. And whoever wanted to know in Best Actress if we've seen Night Watch, which came out 20 years ago, the answer is no. I have not seen Night Watch. But thank you. And until then, I'll see you guys on the other side.
see you guys. Take care.